What's going on, everyone? This week, we finalise our footy thoughts and are joined by a very special guest analyst, Jacob Gooden, most notably related to Keelan. What's going on, everyone? We're here with episode 131 of the Stormy Beach podcast, talking about all things great and garbage this week. What's going on, fellas?
Yeah, not much. It's been a very quick, 3 days since we last recorded.
One business day.
One business day, and maybe 24 hours since I actually remembered to upload the last episode.
Yeah.
So it's been a weekend, but not much usual, not much out of the ordinary happened really.
Mm-hmm.
Would you believe?
I'm just trying to figure out who else I'm meant to be related to. Like most notably, I'm related to you, Keelan. But I need to pull out the family tree, dust it off. But no, not much happening with me other than planning the trip that Keelan has dubbed Hoxeston. I'm not sure if that's made its way into the podcast ears yet.
I don't think so.
Not yet, actually.
I think I was holding off on it
behind the scenes, but not in front of cameras.
Yeah. Well, it's a really clever play on Launceston, except instead of lawn, it's Hock. And not much thought has been put into it otherwise, other than merchandise.
When I heard about it, I didn't pick up on that, actually, so thanks for elaborating.
Yeah. That's what I'm good for, high end analytics.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
But yeah, I'm very excited for that mostly. But I mean, we've got a couple of weeks for that, so
yes,
just waiting on the other side of the family to pay us currently, because we have bankrolled it so hard, so far. Sorry, which is unusual for me. So feeling a little bit vulnerable financially.
Yeah, well, I had Weet-Bix for dinner, so that sums me up.
Keelan was eating ice salad just before the show started.
I thought it was grass clippings.
No, we don't mow the lawn on Mondays. Don't be silly.
Ice salad with grass garnish. Make it a bit special. But yeah, look, lesson learned there, I think, is you got to get money first before you pay for things for people. Otherwise, it bites you. It gets everyone eventually. People are too trusting.
I'm not even like. Oh, yeah, sorry, Jacob. Your camera's actually pointing at your armpit there, mate. No, look, I haven't even paid the full amount yet. I've opted for the Airbnb, pay the whatever it is, a quarter first, and then I'm waiting for all the money to come in before I just slam that on.
Smart move.
I'm just worried that it'll get to the cutoff date, and the day before I say, Lewis, hey mate, can I please have the money now?
We've named names.
It's all good. I haven't dropped his last name, and it's not the same as ours, so it's fine. There's no way he listens to this, does he?
I guarantee you Lewis says he does. Actually, no, he probably wouldn't.
I don't think he would.
He's a mean-spirited guy.
He's so mean. Pies fan all round.
Yeah, this is true.
But yes, so big week.
That's good. Oh yeah, thanks for asking.
With you? No,
classic. Look, usual weekend activities. Bought more chickens. Built another chicken coop. Didn't get to mowing, unfortunately, because we didn't have time. But did some mowing this afternoon. So yeah.
You feeling okay?
Just the usual. It did rain on and off a little bit, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just blame it on the cyclone 1,000 kilometres away, dude.
Yeah. Would have just been doing doughies on the ride on. If I got down there in the wet.
Why not?
Why not? Hey, pretty good. All right, should we skip along to? Anyone got a butcher of the week?
No.
It's been a short week.
Not
Sam
for Jacob.
McClure opened his mouth. Do we talk? Is that qualify as a butchery?
I'll take it if you have a reference from the last week.
What have you got?
Yeah, so he did his list of A graders, or at least this is when it came into my feed. Maybe it might be older than a week, but he gave Adelaide 2 A graders, and one of them being Tex Walker for season 2025, and that's not to discount an incredible career, and I actually like the dynamic that Sam McClure is on with Mitch Cleary, because Mitch Cleary challenges it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, if you were to tell me this at the start of last season off the back of 2023, no worries. And he's like, let me justify it. Let me give you my spiel, and then you tell me. And he just proceeds to list his career accolades again, and then what he did in 2023. And Mitch is just like, yeah, but 2024 happened. And he didn't reproduce it. And he goes, all right, Luke Bruce then, who spent most of last year as a sub, but he had a great 2023. Is he an A grader still? It's not the same thing. Anyway, he's a butcher. He butchers the trade, and he looks like a butcher cut his hair, if we're going to be completely honest. And that's a lot coming from me, because I'm not doing. I shouldn't be throwing shade at anyone, but here I am.
You rectified your hair situation, so it's all good.
I'm not sure what's going on under that lid, but I think that comment is very justified. Regardless.
It was a lot worse. Not even that much. But it wasn't that bad.
Hats will do the trick.
Yep, absolutely. Now this list that he did, is it just what is it in just team order or alphabetical order by teams? Must be.
Have you found it already?
Yeah, I found it on Reddit. From a couple of weeks back.
r/AFL or
yep. It must be by alphabetical order. There's no way he's ranking Tex Walker 1-1 of the best A graders in the competition.
Best footballer in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, but he's just trying to be what Kane Cornes did really effectively at the start of his career. I think because I think I'm on an island a little bit in that I rate a lot of what Kane Cornes has to say.
Echo chamber, because he said he was talking shit about Richmond the other week, how they're asking for handouts and stuff, and I was like, thank you.
The only thing that I can't take anything he says about Port Adelaide seriously. For somebody who goes so hard, I find it really weird that he's actually allows his biases to come out. For somebody that calls everyone on their crap, he's unapologetic about his loyalties, which are mainly probably to Ken more so than the football club, if we're being honest. But he did walk him the 300 games, so and let him go become the world's shortest lived firefighter.
Look,
this list is unusual. Sorry, I don't know how I didn't see this.
Yeah, I know, right? He's come around, I think, Corns, in his takes. He's not as I don't know,
abrasive.
He doesn't have to be anymore, I don't think.
No, exactly. He's not as reaction-inducing. Everyone knows who he is and potentially what he's going to say, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. That's where we went wrong. We just need to come in and say, North Melbourne are winning the premiership this year. They're the best team in the league. And just be really aggressive about takes. And then maybe we can simmer it down in like 3 years.
Unfortunately, there's this thing, and I know we're not journalists, but it's called journalistic integrity. And it's actually having at least a quarter of a belief in what you say. I
have absolutely zero belief in what I just said.
I've found on Instagram Kane Corns' red pen through Sam McClure's list as well.
It wasn't even an intentional segue to reference Kane Corns.
No, it's worked out well.
He did do that.
Yeah.
Bizarrely, he put a red pen through James Sicily, if I'm not mistaken.
He did, yeah.
I don't.
What?
I don't understand that. He played last year. He was in the All-Australian squad last year with one arm. I don't know what more he could have done, and almost won a semi-final off his own.
If he had two arms.
Yeah, well, that's right. I think that might have been more to do with his leg that he didn't get us through.
If he had two arms and a will day, would have been just fine.
Yes, but I thought that was a bizarre one. Like I'm a big Hawthorn man and unashamedly so, but I don't think that it's that controversial to think that he's an A grader.
No, there's probably, I reckon there's 4 red pens on this list from just looking at last season's results that are just factually incorrect. Sicily's one of them. Tom Green on the same slide.
No.
Probably the Giants' best player last year.
Yeah.
Zorko, who had a phenomenal year with a slight position change off half-back, and Harris Andrews, who's one of the best key defenders in the competition.
I don't want to look at this red pen list.
So, outside of that, I mean, the rest, I can live with them.
I don't mind his additions. I think
his additions are good, definitely. Although, I don't know. Horn Francis, maybe.
Did he cross out?
Like I said, Port Adelaide. I draw a line.
Ignore that bit.
Did he cross out Max Gawn by any chance?
No.
Surely not.
No.
You couldn't.
Crossed out.
Well, how is he the only ruckman on there, though?
Good question.
Unless I've missed one. Totally possible I've missed one. He doesn't have Witsy on there.
No.
I've got a massive ruckman call, but I feel like there's a better time to. Do I go with it now, or do I go with it when we're previewing one of the teams?
Don't skip ahead. We'll do it.
Are you talking good about a ruckman or bad about a ruckman?
No, good.
We can wait until we talk about the Hawthorn segment then.
Oh no! I wish it was. Miki's doing fine, but he's not my big call.
Ooh, excellent. Little taster. Don't skip ahead. All right, I don't know. Short week, one day and a weekend. No butchers a week for me. Keelan, nothing from you?
No, sorry.
All right, moving along.
I like it that we just assume that Keelan's not going to bring anything to the table. You just got nothing from
Well, I would have put it in the outline. I'm a very organised young man. Thank you very much.
I trust that Keelan contributes to the outline when he's got stuff to say, so...
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Whereas Matt, we normally had to genuinely ask.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Keelan, you mentioned before the show and you've got something here. We're going to revisit the grapevine.
Welcome to the grapevine.
Something to pick. What have you got?
I've got Australian sports media not understanding time zones. So it's difficult to watch sport from, the US because we're at work generally when it's on. Or in the UK because sometimes the games, like this morning's game, is at 2 fucking a.m., dude. Mm-hmm. Or, if you're one of you fellas, it's 3 a.m. Still a bit rough, right? Mm-hmm. And if I'm in my application of choice, the only application in Australia that I can watch the Premier League on, and I open Optus Sport, and I've got spoiler protection on, so when I click on the game I want, I don't see the score. I don't see any of the stats. Everything's grayed out. That's cool. That's great. Great feature. Works well. To get to the game I want, I have to scroll past the news. And the news says, big title twist. And it's a picture of a Liverpool player and a Man City player. I'm like, must mean Liverpool lost this morning. That's the only way that could be a twist. Turns out, no. They won 2-0. They've extended their lead. How is that? For starters, not a twist. Secondly, it just kind of set me up for not enjoying myself because I had to work back up from being disappointed to neutral, which just fucks me off. So my day could have started with, oh, hell yeah, we're like 11 points ahead of Arsenal or whatever, and instead is more like okay, sweet, they didn't lose.
KO used to have a similar fail on their app where you can make the decision watch from live or watch from start. You'd hit watch from start, but there'd be a glitch that would pop up with the game at live before going back to the start. And I'm like, well, fuck. Well, it was round, I think it was about round 4, so I was like, oh, great, we're already down 17 goals. I'm not going to bother going back to the start now, am I?
Yeah.
I had a similar thing with Optus Sport the other morning because I had my regular work alarm and I need to get up early and watch the football because only slightly earlier, like a week ago, whatever it was. And then my work alarm went off. And without me pressing anything except like dismissing my alarm on my phone, it skipped me to live. So I lost half an hour of football just like that. I was like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, look, it's not the best. It could have started. I suppose it could have been a spoiler.
Oh, bless you.
I was trying to hold it off to get to the mute button in time. I didn't make it, so it just came out with a squeak.
You made me look at the mute button, and I've just found the clip button. So that'll be a good one for the socials. Podcast professional.
Yeah, could have been worse. It could have just been spoiler, immediate loss. Just be like, fuck.
Yeah, no, that definitely would have been worse.
Yeah.
But since we're probably not going to cover the Premier League much today, Liverpool, there's a Premier League title to be won, very much in the driver's seat now. So,
and how are Richmond AFC going?
They don't exist. Yeah.
What about Wrexham?
Wrexham are working their way up slowly, actually.
Oh, well, they're my 2 points. They're my 2 points of reference. Wait, does Harry Gill still play for Liverpool?
No.
That's the audience you're dealing with for this channel.
Yeah, damn.
No, the gripe about the streaming service is relatable though. So I'll give you the points for that.
Your comment on KO, not surprising whatsoever. KO Sport has been Butcher of the Week for, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the weeks that we've had since the podcast started. And we have a shit list that we do per year. And it I think it started off with KO Sport one year, and then it just became the shit list presented by KO Sports by the end of the year. Because of the amount of shit that their app was doing all the time.
Have you guys... I can add to the shit list of KO.
Oh, go for it.
Have you guys heard the controversy about their commentary competition?
No.
They had?
Oh, yeah. No, you mentioned it. No.
So they had to submit a video campaign to why you should be a presenter on the Saturday call team. And it didn't say you had to be a commentator or a host, or it was like just how can you be part of it anyway. So a lot of people submitted. I did a little gimmicky thing. I honestly thought it was a really good way of branching into do you guys remember when the AFL brought out their broadcast deal points where they needed to increase their diversity in their commentary team?
Yes.
I thought this was a really clever way of doing that by going, let's cast the net really wide and let's see what hidden gems are out there. So I did my video thinking the last thing they need is another white boy with a podcast. But I did one anyway because I thought I had a funny idea. Anyway, got nowhere, was nowhere near the finishing. Anyway, they picked a winner. And very quickly, it's one of the boys from Marmalade that won.
Yeah.
But somebody very quickly went to his LinkedIn profile, and in 2022, he was a content creator for KO, which is actually a breach of the competition rules.
Oh, there you go.
So someone commented that on the Instagram post that did it, and goes, and he's clearly reading the comments because that's no longer on his LinkedIn bio. So, yeah, a bit of controversy to start the year for KO. So, yes, it's been we've been recording for not long, and it's already all about KO, this podcast. So I like it. I clearly haven't missed much. I've picked up the tone of the show very nicely.
Very good.
So it's Jared Davis?
Jared Davis, yep, that's him. And this isn't a knock on him. Good on him. Take the opportunities where you get it. But it just seems like why open up that process if you had
I've accidentally navigated to TikTok.
Yeah, if you had a footy social media personality already with experience who's done stuff for you. Interesting.
Yeah.
The old a repeat of the Jessica Mauboy Sony music contract situation, if you will. There's a bit of a deep cut for you guys.
I can't remember that one.
Not a big Mauboy fan.
Similar
sorry.
Situation.
Gonna need to.
Was this Australian Idol?
Sorry, my internet's going bad. Similar situation with Australian Idol, but I think the story was she already had a contract with Sony Music.
There you go.
Yeah, so technically not an amateur and shouldn't have won.
Yeah, gotcha.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, this look, I don't want to rag on Jarrah because obviously he's just gone for it.
Big runner.
He's just another white dude with a mullet and a mustache.
Yes, that's what I want to make very clear. I'm definitely not having a go at him. Like, take the wins when you can get them.
Sounds like a pretty unique look, if you ask me. Branching out.
But yeah, it definitely wasn't their strategy to increase diversity.
No. Very interesting.
There was an opportunity.
There was for sure.
I think that might be our first entry on the list for 2025. Yeah. So thank you, Jacob.
There you go. I like it.
We'll happily throw KO on their
topping
own
off
list.
the shit list again. How good. All right.
To dial back, I did look up where Wrexham are on the table. They're third currently in League One.
How many leagues down is that?
That's the third tier of English football.
Right. League One, third tier makes sense.
Yeah. Well, because you got Premier League, Championship, League One.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, as you would.
Yeah. Not to be confused with
the town. Up
league.
the town.
Not to be confused with League One.
Yeah, League One.
Yeah.
You see the game last night? Yeah, ludicrous display, that one.
What ludicrous performed it again?
Oh, God damn it.
Luda.
Guess he's not as popular anymore.
Featuring JB.
All right, should we get into our footy previews?
Absolutely. Oh, Simon.
Someone doesn't listen to the show.
It's like being at the G.
It's been a while. It is like being at the G.
Not that I would know. Anyway.
2 kids under 5. My podcast time is much lower these days.
You don't just put them on their iPads and then listen to the pod?
I might put them to sleep, actually.
There you go.
No, I'm kidding.
That's how Isaac's wife goes to bed.
That's how my wife goes to sleep. It's either she listens to that or she has to put up with my snoring. So at least it's talking, not snoring.
Yeah.
Do you reckon 24 minutes into the podcast, it's like she's just dozing off now, but because we're talking about her, she can't go to sleep now?
Yeah, probably.
Like, it's just like annoyed that we're chatting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She usually hangs out for the first half an hour and then probably falls asleep in there, just waiting for a mention, because she knows after that there's no way. It's all sport all the time after that point.
I'll keep an eye
all the
on
time. There's a slogan in that.
Yeah. Keep an eye on minute 32 today, and I'll drop a "Hey Sam, hope you're going to sleep all right."
Yeah. Thanks for the title of this episode, Jacob.
I was just going to call it AFL Preseason 3, like the...
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll turn it into a hat then.
We should write that. All sport, all the time. Let's that can be the tagline of this episode. How's that?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, speaking of sleep, did you end up buying the $250 sleep mask last week?
Fuck no. I sleep bad, but not that bad. Not enough to justify that.
For context, Jacob, Isaac has thin eyelids.
medically, or is this just a theory?
No, this is just something we may have discovered last week.
We were on a bit of a profound health kick last week. It happens randomly every now and then.
Yeah, not medically prescribed thin eyelids, but I would rather not go see a doctor about it because I'm sure my insurance premiums would go up if they found out about that, and they'd probably mark it down as like a cancer precursor for future
it's something
use.
that has a good Latin name though, and that's what I.
All right.
Feelings all over that. He's using the Latin name, for thin eyelids.
Fuck, there's no way I can say that. That is a tough one. I'm going to give it a crack, all right? Blepharochalasis.
Blepharochalasis.
Yeah.
Classic.
That seems to be possibly related to a allergy or something. So that might not be it.
Today's episode brought to you by Pfizer. Get your jabs. We're better than Moderna.
Don't forget your booster. Things are starting to cool down.
Oh, flu season.
Flu season is upon us. All right, final 6 teams to preview. Thank you for bringing it back.
My bad for the derail.
Third and final week. We're covering Hawthorne, Melbourne, Richmond, St Kilda, West Coast, and the Western Bulldogs. I'm going to throw it over to the Hawks bag lickers in the room to kick us off.
Look, holistically, I think they'll be disappointed if they don't make it to a prelim. I think that would be their absolute benchmark, given how close they were last year after starting 0-5. To be honest, internally, I think they'd be at least the playing group would be disappointed if they didn't win at all. Whether that's realistic or not, I think is the sign of a footy team that's got a good prospect of sustained success moving forward. You want blokes that are hungry, but personally, I feel like there was a lot of 2007 about last year's Hawks, and we know what happened in 2008. Shout out Geelong supporters who may be listening. But yeah, so I think that at a bare minimum they'll be really exciting to watch this year. They'll be without Cal Shadir and Mitch Lewis early in the season, but the fact that doesn't stress me out all that much makes me think that it's going to be a good watch.
Mm-hmm. On that, I think Chol has grown
physically. He's already tall.
He's a grown boy.
Oh, sorry, I've got a button for that. Hold on.
You actually have to take a lid off it.
Yeah. It's like a dust cover because it's got like proper faders, and you don't want dust getting in the faders. I'm going to leave the cover off if you got zingers like that. All right. But I think he's.
You didn't bring it out for ludicrous.
Yeah.
I was disappointed by that one.
Hit the blue button for that one.
I think that was last season was the most I've enjoyed watching Chol.
Yeah. And he even had an upwards trajectory within the season. Because I remember there was, can't remember which game it was. It might have been against his old mob, against the Suns, and it was just an absolute stinker, and he copped it from all angles, and I think really benefited from the suspension he got that week, weirdly, because I think it probably meant that Sam Mitchell didn't have to make a choice to drop him, but probably had that reality of being out of the side for a couple of weeks where he thought, I don't want to be watching my AFL teammates playing. I want to be an AFL footballer.
Yeah, don't want another half a season in the VFL.
Yeah, exactly right. And he took his opportunity with both hands. Like, he didn't have the best final series, like the semi against Port Adelaide, was poor. Statistically, he didn't have a great game against the Dogs, but I actually thought he straightened us up really well. The small forwards came in because when Hawthorne have this next generation of a mosquito fleet about him, and all Chol needs to do is not be outmarked. If he just brings the ball to deck, just be
get a
2
hand
meters
on the ball. It's
just be 2
easy.
meters tall. That's that's your job. Mm-hmm. Just be there and be 2 meters tall. So no, I think that's a great call.
That's something he's particularly good at. Watching him for a few years on the Gold Coast, not the best at clunking marks, I'll be honest, but somehow he'll get it to ground, especially if it's like legitimately wet, like raining, and the ball will just bounce back towards him, and he'll just soccer it through, or he'll get it to someone useful. Not the best grab, but always seems to get a hand on it. Even if it seems like an absolute sitter, he'll drop it, but it'll fall straight down. It's not skyrocketing off or anything like that. But as you said, like, just be tall, touch the ball, get it down. You've got a billion
27 small forwards
you
to do the work for you.
Exactly.
So
I walk out my back door here and it's like stepping onto Waverley Oval because there's a billion mosquitoes running around. Just about get picked up every time I leave my house. But yeah, that's all he needs to do is just bring it to ground. Definitely. Now, ladder position, I feel pretty, optimistic as well. But I don't. Obviously, you guys have it from the different angle. I'm thinking they'll finish. I'm penciling in
he's
7
dropped
to
out.
10, somewhere in that number.
He's back.
I'm back. Internet's Elon Musk is
Isaac
really
looks
let
like
me
he's
down
mid
tonight.
sneeze on the. Oh, he's back now.
Am I back?
Yeah, you were frozen for a little bit, like mid sneeze looking.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
It was great.
Old Musk has let me down with the internet here tonight, which isn't great. I've got them penciled in 7 to 10. There's a bit of game tape out on them now, which helps other teams. They've had a whole off season to watch it. It's not just a
bring out the budum tish. I think I heard a joke.
Stink it up.
7 to 10.
Yeah, stink it up.
You taking the piss?
Stink it up first 5-6 games of the season, and then have no one have any expectations of you, and then just throw the magnets around and absolutely crush it back into the season. Teams have had 4, 5, 6 months to watch tape on what's happened there and figure it out a bit.
Mate, you can't watch tape and outplay the boys when they're just better and more fit than you are. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Unless you play them on the, on a 2-lane road where there's absolutely no width. The Hawks are going to stretch you. Jacob will be back in a second.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm 7 to 10.
They're currently second favourite for the flag at $8.50, and I think that's a bit rich.
Who else is? What's the order of favourites currently? Is it Sydney?
I believe it's Sydney.
Was it Brisbane?
Might be Brisbane. Give me 1 second. So it goes Brisbane, Hawks, Giants at $9.50, $7.50, $8.50, $9.50. Carlton, Collingwood, Geelong, $10.
Brisbane Hawks,
Sydney,
Giants.
$11.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I see Giants.
Yeah.
Watch as much tape as you want, mate. You just can't keep up with the boys. And speaking of keep up with them, I do have them for a bit of a home ground advantage for both the G and the Tassie factor.
Oh, you can't not have the Tassie factor in there. That's a absolute given.
I'm not sure if it's the wind in Tassie or whatever it is. It's just they play better. They play great in Tassie.
It's some sort of voodoo, definitely.
And MCG could be empty, but just because it's so wide, there's so much room for Mass and whoever else ends up playing wing this year, honestly, to fly up the other side.
Mm-hmm. There's how many games do they have in Launceston this year? Is it 2 or 3 or more?
It's at least one. Take that for free.
I'm positive it's 2.
Yeah,
I think. Pretty sure. But don't get me wrong.
We're seeing Hawks GWS at Launceston.
Yep.
And I think if Hawthorn had to pick somewhere to play GWS,
couldn't get better than that.
It's not too bad. I'm glad we're not playing them at the Honey Hole.
Yep.
Something about that ground. I probably would rather play GWS at the G though, just for the width.
Mm.
But I think it'll be a good game. They've also brought in the 2 Bs.
Crows in Tassie too. So a couple of wins there.
That's a bit of a waste, that one.
Yeah.
But I've just jinxed it. Yeah, so I think it's important that we note that their two pickups greatly strengthen the back line.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that can't be understated enough.
Yeah, I think picking up Barras is
huge,
massive. Sam Frost played a lot better than I think he somehow became a more composed player after that. Everyone references the training where Sam Mitchell said, "Bring your mouth guards." Honestly, I think something switched in his brain then, because he had a lot less clangers than he normally would, and he did step up defensively. But I think Barras slots in potentially in front of him, depending on how he's been looking in training, just for a bit more composure. Even though I think you kind of want to reward Frosty based on his efforts.
Yeah, definitely. But Barras definitely helps down back. Certainly, even aren't lacking in defensive stocks now at all. The big issue, the obvious one, is up forward. You've got one legitimately tall guy, at least for the early part of the season.
Yeah,
and
Cholly.
No one else.
Yeah, look, I think Gunston can be that. Like, obviously, he's not big key forward. By any means.
And he only plays the last 14 minutes of games and kicks 3 goals.
No, I think at least for the first 8 or so games, I think he'll be starting.
Yeah.
Chol off half forward, Gunners roaming the goal square and such.
Mm-hmm.
He does have long levers, but yeah, he's not a big pack guy, is he?
No.
So obviously there's that. And I'm so overexposed. Sorry, YouTube viewers. There he goes again. It's the white shirt. They were all sold out of the brown. But yeah, that being said, that actually segues me very well into Sam's swingmen. Now, I'm going to start listing players who can play basically anywhere. Okay? Weddle, Battle. Sorry, by basically anywhere, I don't mean they're not going to be on-ballers. They're not all going to be on-ballers, but they can play up front or down back. So they can play at opposite ends of the ground. Weddle, Battle, Sicily, Scrimshaw, Hardwick, CJ, and Amon can all play different roles. And I think it's important for a lot of those guys that were predominantly down back last year to be able to play different roles because of the amount of stackedness that there is. So, for example, I don't think CJ even would end up playing halfback this year in the best 23. I think he'd be flying down the wing. Amon, halfback or wing. He's got the engine and he's got some incredible delivery. Hardwick, we saw him. He can nab a few goals out of nowhere, even though he is just another small. He can seemingly just turn up, move a little differently, and snag 4 in a quarter and a bit. Scrimshaw, I think he rightfully got Hawthorn's most improved last year because his intercept game has greatly increased. So I would like to see him play halfback, but he can, just like if you can intercept the ball, you can read the ball as a forward too.
Yeah.
So Scrimshaw and Sicily can obviously do that, and then Battle has the move, and obviously Josh Riddle can play fucking anywhere, dude.
That's very true.
Literally played ruck. So, but yeah, I mean, you Google Hawthorn predictions, and I would over 50%, maybe even over 75% of articles. So I'm just echo chambering here, but they're going on about how versatile the team is, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Doesn't guarantee wins being versatile, because obviously the way you play still has to be good. You can't just play 4 shit brands of football, you know?
Yeah.
But I genuinely think they've recruited very well.
Yeah, it's a good
over the last couple of years.
Depth.
Yeah,
definitely.
Very good for depth. Obviously, like you would pick some of these boys in their main positions, but I think they're still above average. What does it go on the AFL stats? Like above average something?
Yes. Above average. I want to say good.
Great. Elite?
Yeah, I think so.
Because like a couple of these boys are elite, obviously. Sicily. Elite off as an intercept marker down back. But I think he can get up forward, and we've seen glimpses of last year, and he's been in training this year, where he can play a great forward role, and just being a different matchup can make a big difference.
Yeah. It goes elite, above average, average, and below average. The 4 categories.
Oh.
Interesting.
Oh. So you go straight from above average to elite.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, so
yeah,
Sicily's not an elite forward. You're not going to compare him with a Charlie Curnow.
No, of course.
Just I don't think he's above average. I think he's better than above average. So he's high above average.
Yeah, it's hard though, because it's such a small sample size as well.
Yeah.
Like if you extrapolate it out to stats as a forward per minute, he's going to be best in the comp. But
sorry, I mean, like, I don't need or want him to be a forward full time either. I only need him for a quarter.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the trouble. Like, it's a double-edged sword with your swingmen like that.
Yeah,
that can go up and back. The more it initially gives you something different, right? And then you kick 3 goals in a quarter. The more times you do it, the more teams will prepare for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm getting at with the game tape stuff. Like, not that I'm expecting Sicily to get thrown up forward, but it's an option given they have some more support down back. But also,
like if Chol goes down with an injury, it's like, oh well, you probably just do that. Or throw like Weddle up there with him too.
Yeah, exactly. But that being said, you wouldn't play Sicily unless you needed to up forward, right? They did it for something different to get to a win. Not that he's obviously not a bad player, but it's not going to be his best position week in, week out.
No. Of it,
the shoulders interesting. See how that goes. Obviously,
allegedly great recovery. Straight into surgery, straight from Adelaide Oval into the operating room. Got it sorted. And yeah, I mean, all reports say no worries.
Yeah.
But I mean, having the versatility means, if he feels a niggle, he can have a couple games of rest.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, with Scrimshaw playing how he is, CJ has looked composed, having better delivery, that kind of thing in preseason as well. So it's only preseason, but like those kind of things, like individual moments, I think are a great thing to judge in preseason, just not how a whole team plays necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. Especially the games that have happened so far are just all match sim, not even like official preseason games.
Yeah,
really.
they're not getting anything out of it monetarily. There's no gain in winning. It's more of a gain knowledge.
A
get
fitness type thing rather than anything else. What else have I got on here?
I've got him as top 4. Thanks for asking.
That's the other thing. Everyone's up on him now. Bit more pressure on the club as a whole.
I don't think they're going to top the league. I'm not jumping ahead too much. I just think they're going to
second favourite as far as betting odds go. Everyone's got them pretty high.
Yeah,
all of a sudden.
Look, I think
what they did last year was nothing short of amazing from where they started in the season.
Absolutely. If you factor in another 5 games or 6 games or whatever when they're not dog shit. So that's where I'm coming from. And also the pickups they've made, and I think how much they grew in that season.
Yeah.
I don't think they outperformed. I think they've grown because you could see it. You could see development as well. It wasn't just like from shit to good. You could see, you could track it week to week.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Obviously there's ups and downs and whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that's a comment I was going to make on Chol. Last year was hit and miss, but definitely better towards the back end, obviously. But it was a bit like it's worrying because what was it? Without Ben King in 2022, Chol was the guy and was great. Kicked a goal just about every week, I think, if not every single week.
He was on the good for a goal list.
Yeah. And then 2023, not so good.
Yeah.
And from memory, he didn't play that many games, or was dropped quite often, or probably should have been. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes with what is a big load to carry early on.
Phrasing.
Yeah.
His new haircut is fire too.
I don't think I've seen it.
He's got the dreads.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Which, given that he was, pretty much buzz cut for
how does that work?
All that I can remember at Gold Coast, I don't know how that's happened.
He went and got a GTA haircut where they stick hair on.
Yeah. Or maybe his curls are just so tight that they could, stretch him out into dreads. Excuse me.
Yeah, wild. Interesting.
But it's a weird thing, right? Because predicting last excuse me, sorry for the microphone. Predicting last season and looking at trades last year, I think we were both on the sad Chol's leaving Gold Coast, but also good that he was leaving Gold Coast because he wasn't doing great there.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Based on the year before.
And we're like, at least he's, going Hawks. So I'm going to be able to watch him still. Because, we've got the head. And then, he's gone out and got the club's most goals last season with 37, which obviously isn't a crazy amount for, he's not winning the blanking real hard. Coleman.
Yep.
He's not winning the Coleman on 37 goals.
No.
But that being said, there was a billion players with above 30 goals at the Hawks last year. So I think including Kal Shadir, who might have been second or Dylan Moore might have been second, but I think Kal Shadir was in top 5. So I'm excited to see him come back. But based on injuries, what a segue. Chol is my most goals again, just to run it back because I don't think they're going to rush Bitch Lewis or Kal Shadir back.
No, that'd be silly too.
Because ultimately, if they can, so overexposed, it's distracting. Oh God, if they can make it back and then be back in their stride by finals, that's all the team wants. I don't think they would necessarily care about pushing to be number 1 at the end of the regular season.
No, exactly. And at this point in the year, where things haven't started, you don't need to rush back to try and force wins.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
You know,
especially given what happened last year. You can be dog shit and then
pick it up,
make finals.
Yeah, exactly.
To make sure we don't sit on Hawthorn forever, I've got Will Day as an impact player.
Sure.
I don't think he's going to poll the most for Brownlow votes, though, because I think he's a very skillful player.
Mm-hmm.
He's very impactful with the ball, very efficient with the ball, decisive. But as we saw with Paddy Cripps last decade or whatever, 5 years or so, I guess, they like numbers, them umpires. They whip out their phones and they check their, what's the fantasy app? Supercoach or whatever?
Supercoach,
They check their Supercoach and they go, oh, yeah, who got clearances and disposals? And they give them the 3 votes. So I've got John Newcomb for highest polling Brownlow, which is also what happened last year. Anyway, he was highest for the club.
Yeah, and he was...
he's the bull.
Was he best and fairest as well?
Ooh, I think maybe.
So. I'm pretty sure that he was my chalk pick for most impactful for that. Legitimate star, tough as nails player. Pretty sure he was.
He is. He was. He got the Peter Crimmins.
Yeah. As far as the most goals, circling back, looking at the numbers last year, there was plenty of players high 20s. 30 goals a season, but not, like you said, Chol was 37. Not super high in the count, but pretty high. I think my bit of a smoky prediction is Chol has some heavy lifting to do, but I think Dylan gets more.
Yeah. That was, they were 1 and 2, weren't they?
Yeah.
Last year.
36-18 last year from Dylan Moore, so pretty good season.
Yeah, I was tossing. I had the exact same thing. I was tossing them up, and I think it came down to me just picking big guys more. I think.
Yeah, that's
fair. Just how it goes. But it is it's a small forward line. So.
Oh, definitely. My thinking behind it was, they've got one big guy.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to mark him. Right?
That one big guy last year.
Chol's not going to have an easy grab inside 50 for the
smoky pick. Hear me out. James Sicily, most goals.
He's just up forward all season, just from the get go.
Could you imagine?
That would be wild.
You'd be like, okay, yeah, I see what they've done here.
Yeah.
They practiced it last year and then they've done it in training. And then, we see it for the first 3 games and go, all right, guys, that's enough. The joke's over. And he's kicked a bag every week. And you're like, all right, stop, please. And then he goes on to win the Coleman. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, we get it.
We get it. Guy can kick straight. So.
What else have I got? I've got... X Factor.
The entire fucking team.
Now,
there's so many X Factors legitimately though, in my eyes.
My call is the Wizard is going into his sophomore slump season. So Ginnivan will be the biggest X Factor.
Ooh. I don't hate that.
Comes into second year.
Yeah.
As I said before, more tape on him, more tape on the player. It comes back to, we love the debutant snag. There's no footage of them. They come in, they just do whatever they're trying to do and kick a goal. Second year is notoriously hard across all sports, not just the AFL, across all sports. So yeah, I don't know. Got to Ginnivan to embrace it a bit more, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I wasn't even thinking about goal impact for X Factor. I've got Josh Weddle because I think he is solve for X. You can't fucking solve for it with him, honestly. He's wild.
Mm-hmm.
He'll just do it. And that goal he kicked from 50 on the boundary, I think summarises the take.
Yeah, definitely. Great pick. Definitely Swiss Army knife of the Hawthorn Footy Club, Josh Whittle.
Jacob will be back shortly. Just getting the kids down. Given that he's on daylight time, those kids are up well past their bedtime.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's
all right. Should we move on and then we can come back to his additional Hawthorn takes?
Yep. He
better be quick because these other teams are dog shit, so we'll rip through them real fast.
Well, do you want to rip through the ones that he probably doesn't have any surprising takes about? So let's go with Richmond.
We'll do Richmond.
Okay. So we've got Richmond for wooden spoon.
Yeah, I forgot to bring my props down, but picture audio listeners, picture a giant wooden spoon.
Yeah, he's holding it with two hands. That's fucking massive.
Richmond last year, 2-21. Ooh.
I don't see them doing much better.
Look, I'd be very surprised if they won more than 4 matches. Wouldn't be surprised at all if they won 3 or 2. For those who fancy a miracle, $251 to win the premiership.
Is that better or worse than Leicester in their title-winning year?
I think that's better. I'm pretty sure. Leicester was ridiculous.
Yeah, someone put in 5,000 to 1.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, okay.
Pretty bad, but yeah, Leicester City was Sports Almanac. Go back and bet on it, sort of stuff. Definitely.
That's a good Back to the Future reference. That's a good one.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, wooden spoon, and not the one that's in the spoon stand next to the stove, like the one that's in the bottom back of the second drawer down. Like, not a good one.
The one that annoys you because you never use it, but every time you open the second drawer down, it gets a little bit jammed at the back.
Yep.
Because of that fucking spoon.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't throw it out.
What if you need it? What if you need it? Exactly. You got to keep it around, unfortunately.
You never know. You could be cooking up a banquet and then you do need it and you go to whip it out. It's not even a spoon. It's one of those wooden spatulas. And it's kind of split in the middle.
Yep.
And there's a little bit of leftover food in there because it's difficult to clean it out if it's split.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking from experience.
You can't, who throws out a wooden spoon? Like, how bad does a wooden spoon have to get for you to throw it out? You just wash it. So it's going to be there forever.
You know how we started, the episode last week with profoundness?
Yes.
Yeah, well.
There you go.
Why didn't you channel that?
Yeah, thank you. I don't know. I wasn't thinking of Richmond Footy Club at the time, I guess.
Speaking of profound, they are full commit, bottom of the table. I don't think anyone's ever thought that. They should have good experience for the kids, though.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a character building season, I think.
I think it'll probably be a character building few seasons. Yeah, look.
I didn't see many takes on Richmond that weren't just be patient for the next half a decade. Yeah,
exactly. They're a big club now, although, fair weather fans perhaps. Surely the AFL can't hand them any additional concessions until...
I think they've already said no. And
unless they spoon this year and next year, they can't even think about it.
I think you have to spoon 3 years in a row before you can even ask. That should be the
before
rule.
You can even consider asking, and you better not have won a flag within the past 20 years too.
That's what Kane Corns were talking about the other day, and instigating. Oh, I don't want to fuck up the facts because I've got journalistic integrity. Hold on.
Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
That's journalism, yeah. As I open Facebook to find my saved posts, I see every team that's held a 12-point lead after 27 matches has gone on to win the Premier League. Currently, Liverpool have 11-point lead. So thanks for that, Opera Sport. You're just feeding into...
I don't know what you're worried about. We've known this since November.
Stop it. Honestly, Arsenal losing to West Ham blew my mind. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
They're complaining about... Sorry, tangent. They're complaining about a red card that is definitely a red card as well. So they can fuck right off. So Kane Corns was talking about the AFL's reported Buddy Franklin rule.
Yes,
and kind of... So the idea is, you can sign these players on these massive long contracts or whatever, but the AFL is going to go, hey, just want to remind you, these are human beings.
Yeah.
They are athletes.
Yeah,
so
they've brought in rules around the long contracts already.
Yeah. Well, this is, just to let you know, when you come to us asking for handouts because you're half a team that is on concussion retirement and you've got no players, you can't ask us for handouts because we told you not to sign them for 10-year deals when they were all 35. That's what the gist was. And I 100% agree with that take from Kane Corns, would you believe? So there you go.
I think that's fair enough. Like, I don't know why it's called the Buddy Franklin rule because the AFL didn't fucking care, right?
He called it the Damien Hardwick rule.
Yeah, he did call it Damien Hardwick rule. Which, whatever. Coaches don't do the contract negotiations. I guess they tell the general managers or whatever they're called in the footy world to sign, or that they want to sign players. Right. But yeah, you sent the biggest player in the game of footy for the past, I don't know, discounting Gary Ablett obviously, but for a 20-year block right in the middle of his stardom to the biggest non-traditional AFL market there is. Like, the AFL loved that. For $1 million a season, yeah, fuck yeah, why not? He's going to bring in... Hey, he's back. Excellent. But, like, now they're handing these deals out to, I don't know, anyone who kicks 45 goals a season. Aaron Norton's not fucking Buddy Franklin, for Christ's sake.
But Buddy, like I've missed a lot of that, obviously, but I feel like I can come in. I feel like I've got enough context very quickly.
Yeah, you got the gist of where we're going with this.
Do you think
segment.
Buddy's sitting there going, "Fuck, if I 10 years later, if I was born 10 years later, I'd be the richest person Australia's ever seen."
Yeah,
and that might even be including Gina Reinhart. Because who was it that got offered $17 million today?
Oh, yeah.
Finn Callahan.
Finn Callahan, who then went back to the Giants.
That's how bad the Saints are going. They can't get a bloke I've barely heard of for $17 million.
$20 million can't make players play for St Kilda. But you're right. So, Buddy Franklin would have been guaranteed $50 million and 3 houses over a 20-year contract, I reckon.
And then cost of living after.
And cost of living on top. Yeah, exactly.
They would have given him fucking Kirribilli House, dude.
They might have.
And a ferry to use at his leisure.
Opera house for family movie night, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, we've been on Hawthorn for most of the time, and we've just moved on to Richmond, where we've summarised they are wooden spooners.
I'm not offended for it to be left at that. To be honest, like, what are you?
We're like, we might as well.
Nothing.
We might as well jump ahead to a team that he's not going to have any hot takes about. Richmond's going to be terrible. So
the one thing I did note about Richmond is at some point there's going to be a lot of young kids play, and sometime that youthful exuberance of see ball get ball can give you a couple of moments. It's probably going to be really bad viewing for non-Richmond supporters, but Richmond fans have to know where they are. They've had the success. If they can't roll with the punches of some low times and just take this for what it is, then I think that's a them problem.
Definitely. I said at the start, 2-21 last year. I would be very, very surprised if they got to 4 wins or more. Maybe that youthful exuberance might get them 3 wins.
Might get them some close losses.
But lots of, maybe a few close losses, but lots of bad losses, I'd say.
I'll ask you one question. Is Uze because he got the honeymoon last year, he got to just see things play out. He was probably benefited in a way by that absurd injury list because he got a free pass at it. I guess he got to actually see his whole list. He got to have a look at everyone. So,
top to bottom. He saw them all.
He's probably the most informed coach about his playing list. But does he have to achieve anything this year for a club that knows success? Like in terms of win losses, does he need?
I don't.
Does he have a figure?
I don't think they should put any.
Like you look at what they've got, and they're $251 to win the flag at the moment. Pre-season, expectations are as low as they can get. I reckon he gets. I reckon he gets 2 more years at least.
You have to.
If anyone's considering putting money on it, just donate it to a charity because at least you can write it off. I reckon he gets 2 more years at least with this situation that he's in.
Yeah, well, they're a better football club than Carlton, aren't they? They're not just going to jump at the first sign of a leak boat, are they?
Yeah, exactly. What I was saying, because there was talk about concessions and stuff like that, obviously that have been shot down pretty quick. And I was like, you gotta spoon it up 3 times in a row before you can even consider asking for a concession, and you better not have won a flag within the past 20 years. So Richmond's got a long way to go before they should be handed anything.
Yeah, and I think we should all help Essendon out before there's something though. I'll say they won't win a final this year, Essendon, but next year, because the new list manager will have actually had a chance to put their own DNA on the list. So once the heir of Dodo has vacated, they might give it a nick.
I'm just having a quick look. Richmond used 42 players last year by the looks.
How many did West Coast use?
40.
Tough look.
There you go. Shout out AFL Tables, the yellow website that we love.
Love AFL Tables.
I've actually... It's funny. I laughed to myself when you guys reference yellow tables. I'd be able to find the message in my phone of me and a mate going, "Shout out to the bloke that runs yellow tables."
Yeah.
You can grab like I don't know what it's called, maybe like a webhook or something. You can grab it and pull it into Excel.
Yeah.
Natively from the site. Like you
perfect.
can run your own numbers if you wanted to and do your own statistical analysis.
Yeah.
They are full on running the show.
You absolutely know it's not more than one guy who's just in it for the love of the game. Because there's nothing flash about that website at all.
I have to believe he's really good at Supercoach.
Yeah.
It's got to be benefiting him somehow, right?
Yeah.
Surely.
Making use of it.
Yeah.
Just to round off the mandatories, I've got, depending on if he has another... if he's injured or not. Tom Lynch for most goals. That being said, he's only played 8 games over the last 2 seasons. But, he's still a big, strong man and can clunk a mark and whatever. So
I struggle to look past him as well, just because he's going to be the target inside 50 every time.
Yeah. Youthful exuberance can get a ball to a big man, I would think.
Well, you'd have to think that's the one thing that they can do.
Yeah,
is kick a pill. It'll be under slightly more fear of.
Yeah. he did leave the training track a bit wobbly the other week.
He's fine.
I'm sure he's fine.
I did my research.
Yeah, it'll hit him when he's 42, but he's fine now, so it's okay. The tough look when your third leading goal kicker last year played 10 games.
Yeah. And they had 7 guys tied on third
exactly.
with half a goal each.
Exactly. Shea Bolton's gone. I can't trust Tom Lynch.
That's 34 goals.
Yeah, can't trust Tom Lynch to stay healthy, and I'll just boo him religiously until the end of time. So I've got Ryan Mansell down, question mark.
Oh, yeah.
Lynch is going to be the big target. He's going to have not many easy grabs all season, so just pick another big one, I think. That's my approach.
Could also have Bolter, but I don't like him very much. So I don't rate him.
Okay.
But he's big.
Most impactful,
Lynch.
who have they got left? Question mark. Is Tim Taranto still around? Nank's around, I think.
Nank, he has, put simply, he has to be impactful.
Yeah.
Because he's going to have to throw multiple kilos around in that midfield to protect the young blokes coming through. And when you got not much else, you got to be physical.
Yeah.
I think that's semi-why I put down Lynch as most impactful as well, because if he's not there, they are actually fucked.
Yeah.
I think Nank's a good shout. He's going to need to have 40-plus hit-outs a game, and there's going to be about 3 to advantage, unfortunately, because the young fellas are just going to go the wrong way. But
and it
is what it is.
And that is to just make sure that his young teammates don't fall out of love with football.
Yeah, exactly.
They need to have a crack at first use. Because if they're not getting first use, they're probably not going to win it in a 50-50, are they?
No.
You can't put that expectation on a young group. So, Nank from one.
Mm-hmm. All right, we might just skip back to Hawthorn and some bits you might have missed.
Ooh.
Jacob, did you give us a top goal scorer?
I'm gonna go a Smoky just because, I'll give you my cliche answer. I think, not cliche, but probably the predictable one. I think now that he's ditched the yips, Watson is primed to hit the scoreboard.
We've had 2 opposite takes.
You'll hate what I've said 5 minutes
ago.
No.
What you reckon he'll go back in his shell, do you?
I think I've just called classic sophomore slump. Second season, it's a bit harder.
But
people have seen you a bit.
Don't you reckon he had a freshman slump?
He's
pretty woeful early.
Yeah. But
he was dropped last year.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. It'll be interesting, no doubt.
One of us is going to be right. I don't think it's going to be in the middle.
This is why they played the games.
No, it goes one way or the other.
One way or the other.
I don't think he's going to be towing middle ground till either, because I think that's one of the things with Hawthorn. So many small forwards at any given time. The one that's out of form is probably out of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he either be playing footy, and while you're in, because arguably they're in a premiership window now.
Sure,
if he's not in the best 23, you can't keep him in the side just because he's got a bright future.
Yeah.
Everyone's. I think that's an exciting thing about Hawthorn is everyone's going to be earning their spot every week. There aren't too many certain starters other than Kane's non-A grader, Sicily, who, nice segue, he's my Smoky for most goals because
someone actually did it.
We were joking about that, and I was like, imagine.
I've got a theory on it though, so I'll back it up with something. Obviously, without Deere and without Lewis at the start of the year, Sam Mitchell came out and said at after they got Battle and Barras, that he still saw Sam Frost as being in his best 22.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So at the very least, I take Sam Mitchell at face value. So I think all three of them will start the season. He'll give them a shot at the title. First month of footy, Frost, Battle and Barras will play. And I think it'll be Battle or Sicily that goes forward.
Yeah.
But I think Sicily's better at both ends. But I think Battle is closer to Sicily as a backman than Battle is close to Sicily as a forward.
Yeah.
So it could just be a 1 month thing. It's either gonna, because he kicked in only a few quarters forward. I think he almost kicked 10 goals up in like 4 quarters playing forward.
Yeah.
And again, with one arm.
Mm.
And the way he
always forget about the one arm.
Yeah. He runs and jumps at the footy at his best. So if he can play forward, and let's not forget he was drafted as a forward, he's played against the very best forwards in the game and would have learnt a lot. And now early days as a forward, he was trying to prove that he was an AFL footballer, and he hadn't gotten there yet. And now I think he's almost got that confidence where he knows my position's not in question anymore. I've got no pressure on me. We're just having a throw at the stumps here to see if it works. Deer's going to be back. Frost is probably the one that falls out of the side if it doesn't work. But I do believe he deserves a shot at it because I thought he was phenomenal last year. And if you actually awarded all Australian spots for beating your defender rather than just looking at the volume disposals, I think Frost is in the conversation for that. So yeah, Smokey for those reasons. It's not not as outlandish as maybe it still is, but I put some thought into it.
Well, see, I had Chol based on Lewis and Deer being out for an extended period of time.
Yeah,
and Target going forward.
Yeah.
Do we have any? Have you guys heard any of the noise? Because I've read a lot of articles about it, but I've also got friends that went and watched the match simulations and they don't know where the hype is come from about Max Ramsden.
No.
I think there was hype on him before the match sim, if I'm remembering what he looks like. He's the one with the mullet, right? He's got a small mullet.
Yeah, 203 centimeters. There was talk that he gave Barras a bath in an intra club, and then so I messaged my mate that was there, and he's just like, "That's not true."
Yeah.
so it seems like one of those things that's might have just. I dare say maybe he did like one impressive thing for the game, and it caught somebody's eye, and they put a story.
Yeah, classic.
Out there.
Look,
training the house down sort of situation in pre-season.
Yeah, he's had a great summer.
Yeah.
Look, at his age, a great summer can make a big impact because he played 3 games last year.
And
not 4 games either, I don't think. But he was a beanpole. He's a 2-meter beanpole last year. He's probably put on some muscle over Christmas.
One thing I will say 100% is because he was probably in a bygone era, probably would have been in danger of falling off the list last year. But when you've got a guy who's 203 centimetres, I'd rather keep him 1 year too long than 1 year too little.
Yeah.
No greater example of that than Liam McBean, who was drafted to the Tigers about 10 years ago. Just a big fella, fell off the AFL list because he was that beanpole, and now he's probably the best forward in. God, he'd be up there for Sandford history. He kicked 7 in the Sandford Grand Final last year, and not actually nominated for the draft again as a 29-year-old. And I thought he might have been a smoky to a Brisbane to try and fill that void of Joe Danaher while they're in the window, like not necessarily an heir to the throne, but a gap fill. That's a random way of going about saying, like, if Richmond had have just had the foresight to keep him for an extra year or somebody else gave him another chance, with those big guys, don't know how long it's going to take him to actually figure out how to do it against grown men.
And he's already done it against grown men. He kicked his debut goal round 4 against Collingwood. So when Hawthorn were,
trouncing.
And he had elite goal accuracy last season of 100%. So in for a big one this year.
Can't miss is what they're saying.
Yeah, can't miss. Give him the Coleman now.
I picked Dylan Moore as my pick for the Hawks.
Well, you've gone the dual. You've split the dual leading goal kickers.
Exactly
from last year. So I like it.
So I've gone that. The smalls are great, but like we said,
they're not going to be the focal point, are they?
They're not going to be the focal point. Everyone's going to go to Troll. The little fellas are pretty mercurial. They're not going to be the Ginnivan and Watson aren't going to be the third and fourth best forward of the 6. They're going to be either the best or number 6 every game, sort of thing. So
or Ginnivan's going to be going up and trying to get 30 on borderline half back.
Yeah, exactly. So Dylan Moore, consistent.
A guy who gets his heat map is half forward and forward.
Exactly.
No, completely reasonable take.
I don't want to dwell on Hawthorn too much more, but I do want to. But also, we have more teams. Just quickly, your impact player.
Impact player, I think I always struggle to go past. I think he's the most underrated player in the AFL, Blake Hardwick.
Oh, okay.
Oh, who are you gonna?
No, I thought you were gonna have Will Day.
You reckon he's? I don't reckon. Is he underrated?
I don't think he's underrated.
No, but
anymore.
I was just going on the impactful thing. I think a lot of journalists and Brownlow voting has him underrated.
Yes, but I think we might have chatted offline Keel, about the Brownlow's very much a volume stat thing. I don't think. I think he is going to be a hallmark of the All-Australian team for years to come, Will Day, but I don't think he's going to scratch the surface on those individual awards unless he gets that volume next to him. But I think John Newcomb is going to do those hard yards inside, akin to what Tom Mitchell did do for Hawthorn. But Tom Mitchell he just didn't have the outlet guy. For his time at Hawthorn, he was brilliant as an individual. John Newcomb has
Gary Ablett at Gold Coast Suns vibes, or
whereas John Newcomb has Will Day that he can feed the ball out to, and I think that's I think they both make each other better players. But Blake Hardwick, for me, I think he'll spend time at both ends. But he rarely loses his one-on-one matchup, and I think he's one of those guys that I'm about to say what I'm about to say, knowing full well that he's come second in a Hawthorn Best and Fairest a couple of times, but I'd have him in the frame for a most valuable player award in the true sense of what value actually means, as opposed to necessarily being the best player in his team. He's never going to get Brownlow votes unless he goes forward and kicks 5 like he did. Like he did a couple of times. But I like. I just love a bloke that goes and wins his position.
Yeah, no, I wrote that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
very good.
They're a difficult team to pick dude. There's too many guys,
which makes it fun, because the thing is right, Isaac, that you could be spot on. It could be 7th to 10th, but we're going to have fun figuring out which way they go.
Yeah, exactly.
I legitimately forgot that Connor Nash existed until earlier, and then I was like, holy shit, we've got Connor Nash, we've got James Warple, like all these dudes that I like really rate watching them play.
Somebody roasted me last year, and because you really forget how impactful Connor Nash actually is. Because I said, if there's a midfielder that could fall off, maybe it's Nash that's first to go. And he goes, and he didn't roast me. He gave me a challenge. He said, next game, watch the first 5 minutes. If or he might have said, go back and watch the last few games. Watch the games where Nash starts on the ground versus when he starts on the bench. It's whether Hawthorn kicks the first couple of goals or whether they have the first couple kicked against him. He just sets it. He's just atones it. And true to the comment, it was so accurate because he's in no way brilliant. He just straight lines it. He has the most predictable movements of all time.
But he's fucking 6'2". He's yoked.
Mate, 6'2", he's 6'7".
Is he 6'7"?
He's bigger than me, mate.
Holy shit.
He's a massive fucker.
Oh, his shoulders must be like fucking soccer balls then, dude.
6'6". I think he's 190.
He's 198.
Yeah.
Why do I think he was 6'2"?
I don't think he's 6'2", because that would be small on the footy field, and he doesn't look small.
No, sorry.
Like, it's not small,
everyone.
but like,
no,
your
just
small forwards are like 5'9".
See you later. Thanks, everyone.
He is someone who he's an example of someone that was given extra time because he was so tall. But they expected it was going to be at one end of the ground. It was Sam, and this is probably. I wonder if behind closed doors, a big part of it's time to move on Alistair Clarkson to Sam Mitchell was Alistair Clarkson is trying to force a round peg into a square hole of playing Nash as a key position player, and Sam Mitchell goes, let's just try something.
Yeah,
let's give it a crack.
And it's been a revelation.
I mean, most improved over the last how many years has it been? I don't know. Whenever, because they show his tapes semi-regularly on Facebook of like his very first time kicking an AFL ball and like handballing it, and it is comical, but like it just shows how far he's come.
Definitely. And the thing they say about that, I don't know if Irish blokes that come in, the first time you're taught to kick a football is by a professional, then you're gonna end up with a pretty good result. Everyone that you see with a bad habit has that bad habit from when they were in Auskick. I'm 6'6" and I have big hands. But when I was a kid, I had small, or I couldn't quite figure out how to grip it, and I had an Auskick coach that goes, "Oh, well, just sort of hold it underneath the ball as you guide it down." Absolutely terrible. But I did it my entire football life because that was the first way I was taught how to do it. So shout out to the really good junior football coaches and Auskick coaches that teach good habits, because they will stick with grown men like me for their whole life. It's probably why I never made it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's
the way. Injuries and a chronic lack of talent.
in that order.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So let's move along then.
Sure.
We can talk about Hawthorn forever, but we got to save something for Hoxton, don't we?
This is right.
Take a pick. You had some takes on St Kilda, I think you said.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk St Kilda.
Excited and St Kilda shouldn't belong in the same sentence.
No, they're so boring.
Especially the way they played last year.
But it's because of something that will have nothing to do with Ross Lyon. So
it could be interesting.
It's not that I'm expecting a real change to their game plan. It's who they selected during the SSP period. Big Harry Boyd from Norwood. He is the best ruckman I have ever seen. He's slightly on the shorter side for a league ruckman. I think he's 198, but he is. I was looking at him as because have you got his age in front of you?
Yep.
26. 26. I was looking at him going, this bloke at 26, because I watched a bit of the Sandful over the last couple of years. I was looking at him going, the only reason he mustn't be playing AFL football is because he must be on the gear and he's afraid of testing. He is a beast. He's got the biggest chest, biggest shoulders I've ever seen. He just bullies anyone that goes anywhere near him. And he runs a 6-minute 2K.
Huh? What? He is on the juice, bro.
Yeah, he is absurd. And He gets the footy. He wins it around the ground. His work rate is huge.
6 minute 2K.
His actual ruck craft is phenomenal. And I think this is the part that excites me. He's going to be undeniable that he has to be the Saints' number one ruckman, which they have a great number one ruckman in Rowan Marshall. But Rowan, while I think Harry Boyd is an amazing ruckman, I don't necessarily know that he's an amazing footballer, but he's an amazing ruckman who's going to outwork his opposition. Rowan Marshall, an amazing footballer, you can put him at full forward and he might be the best 5 minute, a quarter ruckman you're ever going to get, the best pinch hitter, but I reckon he can kick you 4 goals a game as well if he plays as a next to permanent forward. So that's what excites me. They'll get plenty of it out of the midfield. But again, this is going to come down to Ross. Does Ross have Boyd there as an insurance policy for Marshall, or will he acknowledge, shit, this guy's good? Because they had Tom Campbell, who's been a very serviceable VFL ruckman for a long time. He's what's his career games? Under 50 probably, but he's played almost 10 years in the AFL. Ross the boss never looked at
58 games.
58 games in about a 10-year career.
Yeah.
But Ross never looked at bringing Tom Campbell into the side to be the core man and have Marshall forward. So, yeah, it's my excitement is, I suppose it is dependent on Ross. So I suppose I'm not excited because Ross won't do it.
That's a long way to say they're going to be boring again. Anyway,
but that's my big call. If they can see the forest through the trees on how much impact a bloke playing state footy last year can have.
Very interesting.
That's some insight I would not have picked up on.
Yeah,
so thank you.
Keel, Samantha for that's my sister, Keelan's cousin.
I'm aware of Samantha. Yeah,
this is not Isaac. Her fiance has played SANFL and VFL over the last few years, so I've been watching him, and I had in my head that I genuinely believed, I did vision for him and scouted him, and I thought Nick, he'd be a really good backup for a club. Just coming in as just a real man's man footballer, and got good endurance himself. And then I saw him play against Harry Boyd, and then I started watching Harry Boyd. I forgot about Nick and just started watching Harry Boyd every week, and I'm like, I'm on this guy.
Does Nick play ruck?
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you seen him? He makes me look short.
I've met him, but he's not.
No, he's a massive man. I actually reached out to. This is back to Harry Boyd now. I actually reached out to the Western Bulldogs. I know someone in their recruiting team, and I just said, look, I know you guys are already a very tall team, but I'm telling you need to get taller. And this is just a completely unsolicited insight I gave them.
That's a bold take. The Bulldogs are a very fucking tall team.
But I would, and I might have mentioned this in the group chat, Keelan, I would move Tim English to a wing, play that Blitzarves role.
Yeah, I'd move Tim English to the seconds team. He's fucking overrated as shit.
Saw that coming.
I think he's a tremendous athlete. Obviously, he's 206 centimeters.
Yeah.
This ruck rule where you can cross over. He's just dated as a ruckman. I think he can be a very good footballer. I wanted the Bulldogs to go after, and this is a football purist, not because I want to see the Bulldogs be successful.
No, because no one wants to see that.
But I just for what would actually make a good football move, I would have gone and grabbed just a really good ruckman. Forget about the footballer. Just bring in a really good ruckman. move English where it's not his job to win 40 hitouts a game and get bruised and battered. It's just run up and down and play against, the small wingmen of the competition and just take one-on-one marks up and down the ground all day. Rebound 50s, inside 50s. I think he could be a really good footballer. He will never be a really good ruckman. And I know he was an All-Australian once, but I didn't agree with that at the time either.
Oh, someone's been listening to me.
I knew I wasn't on an island on that one. Coming into this. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting point about St Kilda with their top up there. A couple weeks back, injury list update from the Saints. Rowan Marshall 3 to 4 weeks away with pelvis stress fractures. So that puts him right around round.
And his
one,
pelvis
really.
pelvis thrashed. Thank you.
Active off season for Rowan Marshall.
I sense because the worst thing that ever happened to me was finding out that SEN had a text line. Because I'll just be like, whoa, Dwayne Russell, here's my hot take. Because I saw there being a positive in that Rowan Marshall injury, that it meant that Boyd is definitely going to play Community Cup. If he gets a shot at it, and for someone like him coming in, it's going for every other footballer, for everyone else on an AFL list. Your goal is to just get through uninjured Community Cup.
Yeah.
But for a 26-year-old that's been signed in the SSP, this is the most important game he's ever going to.
Oh yeah,
play
absolutely, yeah.
So he's going to take his chance and chop it. So yeah, it's balls in Ross's court.
Who are they playing?
In the Community Cup.
Yeah, I'm looking just now.
Just trying to figure out who he's going to come up against.
Port Adelaide. So Jordan Sweet, that's a good. And they've probably matched up. They may have matched up against each other.
Yeah, probably actually.
Because obviously Soldo had first crack at the title last year, didn't he? So Sweet would have spent
a bit of time
in the twos. But yeah, and I think that'll be a good opportunity for like any plausible deniability that Ross wants us to make an excuse as to why he feels the need to play Boyd in round one, is that Marshall's coming in a bit underdone. Let's sit him out of the goal square for a game. But God knows they need something up forward and make Owens not have to play second ruck.
Oh yeah.
His confidence, like he's a man who had the sophomore blues, and I just think he stopped loving footy. He didn't want to go in and get.
Oh, if you played for fucking St Kilda last year, of course you stopped loving footy. like they might as well have gone out there and fucking played chess in the middle of the oval for 3 hours. It was so boring. But yeah, completely agree. Like you can't put him out. Like you got to pick your spots for a player like him to go jump in the ruck when against teams who don't have a big backup or, a large, tall forward who will come in and pinch hit. You can't put Mitch Owens in there that often because he's not that build.
Yeah, and I went, and this is a relevant segue back to Hawthorn. It's not me just going, hey, how about this?
We're going to talk about Josh Weddle, number one ruck in the league.
No, just the thing that I thought set Hawthorn apart last year, and it goes into, is that Hawthorn's backup ruck situation was really unique. When Meek came off, Scholl would take the centre bounces and then he'd go forward and Nash would pick up the duties. So clearly they've identified that Nash can't have that knee-to-knee contact. They don't want him doing that. If St Kilda want to use Owens in the ruck, it has to take the centre bounce out of it.
Yeah,
I know from my perspective as someone that was forced to play ruck purely because of my height, I can't jump over a jam jar, but I'm not getting any smaller. I will soon. I'm getting over the perch. But that is what I hated about it was centre bounces. Like that's where you think, and it's not about being scared, but it's where you genuinely think you're gonna. If I'm gonna get hurt, it's gonna be doing this, and then, like Luke Darcy's career was finished because of knee-to-knee contact. Adam Goodes is just lucky that he was mercurial and he could do his PCL and then just go and be a midfielder. But it's put many a man on the back foot. That centre bounce craft and
Ooh, interesting. So, what's needed? More knee pads, or get rid of that?
Well,
in a sense,
the crossing the line and getting a bit more shoulder bargies, a bit safer on the knee.
Well, this is how Lloyd Meek turned his career around and went in front of Ned Reeves. Was the rule change?
Yeah.
But for me, and I'm definitely the only person I've ever seen do this because I went, and I wish I did it forever and a day. But a couple of years ago, I came out of my 74th retirement because I retired very often. But the longest one I'd ever had, I came back out and they're like, "Sorry, mate," because it was just to help out my old boys. And they said, "So we're going to have to put you in a ruck. We got no one." I'm like, "Oh, whatever." So I went and I wasn't concerned about my shins at all. Like when I was younger, I'd wear a shin guard thinking that, but shins are just going to hurt. You're not actually going to,
it's not actually going to get it's a knock. Yeah.
So what I actually did, I wore a volleyball knee pad on my knee. And whether it was a placebo or otherwise, at the very minimum, I had more confidence going up that I wasn't going to burst the fat pad or crack the
cap.
So I think that there's an untapped market for someone to bring out whether it's a knee pad that rolls into a shin pad all in one that just sort of clips on, but there's something more that could be done.
All right, Keelan, you're going to have to hold this episode for a few weeks while we look into this technology and get it on the market before footy season starts.
It's it's a pre-season episode.
Well, I've got plenty of my network of AFL players, former AFL players, is almost exclusively big men. So
in some kind of union or something,
get some beta testers.
Out there.
All right. So on the Saints, I've got a tagline. They may have lost.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's a long down line. They may have lost battle, but they've also lost the war.
Probably just don't mention the war. And what is the war? One flag. History.
Other notes include ew, stinky. They have actually they've got a bit of a Hawthorn one forward target at the moment. But I don't back their play style to.
Where are we at with Max King? What's his body like?
He had a knock or something the other day, but he'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So even the Marshall forward thing might just take some pressure off him.
Yeah.
Even if it just means that he's not getting doubled down deep, like that's the year that Buddy kicked 100. I don't think he kicks 100 if Roughhead isn't playing in the same forward line and also kicking 70 because you can't dedicate all your time to Franklin because you've got this other star there. So if you can put two genuine threats in the one forward line, I think Max King would be the happiest man in the world.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like he's good to go. Apparently,
I think he's still a test or whatever for round one.
See how that holds up.
But doctors say she'll be right.
Yeah, it might be a necessary choice by Ross to swing Marshall forward and bring Boyd in just for that. Like if they get nothing going up forward, which I mean that wouldn't be a shock to be honest. But if they've got absolutely nothing going, outside of, say, Jack Higgins, they're going to have to do something.
Yeah, well, and the thing that is for sure is there will be an excuse if it doesn't work, but he'll be a genius if it does work.
Yeah,
facts.
Absolutely.
And final position wise, I've got him bottom half of the table. Would you believe?
Yeah, I think they could best 7th, but they could also be 14th.
Yeah.
I think it's a big range.
I just think there's too many teams that should perform better than them.
Yeah.
They might not, but a lot of teams should perform better than them. So,
yeah,
I don't have them with enough players on their list to really be a true September threat. At least at the start of the year, see what they pull out. They've got some good players, but there's not enough of them.
Yeah.
I say this begrudgingly, but the Kings, both of them, they're good forwards. Not great. They just get knocked off the ball. They're not big enough, or they don't play big enough, if that makes sense.
Someone needs to make it. Either St Kilda or the Suns need to make it work and put them both in the same forward line.
Yeah.
Because and the same, like I say it somewhat facetiously, but if there's two of them, you can't. If there's two of them, one of them's going to catch fire, right?
At this point in time, the Suns look more likely to pull that off. Although the Saints just signed Max until the end of time, I think, after his ACL last year. So
did Max get a max?
Happened. I think he got till I think he got a 6-year deal or something like that. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
shore himself up.
Look, I didn't pick a goal scorer, but it's probably Max King, I guess.
I'm going the Smoky, Rowan Marshall. Ross dependent.
There's so many things that lead to that.
Yeah. I'm putting too much faith in a man I've learnt not to put faith in.
Yeah. I'm on Jack Higgins again. Just the most consistent forward for them as far as injuries and performance goes.
He's the most likely to make something of limited opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. Like he kicked 3 in the last quarter when they're down by 50. Why not? Give the fans something to come back to next week, sort of thing. Birdie the 17th. Come back for another round, sort of stuff. But yeah, not looking too forward to trying to tip St Kilda games again because I always go the wrong way.
No, it's shocking those. You can't do them. Yeah, all right. So maybe let's I don't have a most impactful. Let's all put that fella you mentioned before.
Harry Boyd
for most impactful.
Smokey most impactful.
The triple down. I wouldn't mind moving to the Bulldogs.
Sure.
Because
and moving on.
Yeah, that's it. I very much
covered it.
Very much. I'm on the same page. They, just because you can read that they do have a very tall team, right? So yeah, no shit. They're gonna be tall or whatever. But like, Sam Darcy's there for another decade or whatever. But they got the bond.
Yeah,
it is the note I made about the Bulldogs is biggest waste of a list since the Grant Thomas led Saints. Of where they had a forward line of Hamill, Rewalt, Gehrig, Milne, maybe even Lowe for one season amongst them, and didn't make a grand final. So that's how I feel about this current crop of Bulldogs.
Yeah, in theory it should work, right? You just lead all the directions, one up the middle, one towards each pocket, and just kick the ball to one of them. Like they can't do anything about it. You got your long levers and you jump it. Like someone's going to mark the fucking footy, for Christ's sake. Surely if you're 1-on-1, God forbid someone floats across, like kick it Sam Darcy's direction. No one's probably getting above him.
If he stays healthy, he's
going to be a problem, a highly skilled footy player who will be one of those unicorns who will just be able to do everything.
At what point do you make the decision to never put him in a centre bounce again?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably now.
Exactly.
Just don't put him in one now.
I certainly wouldn't be.
No.
And
I mean, why would you when you have
if Jamara's not going to be there at the start of the season, you've got a pretty good excuse to just leave him full time.
Yeah,
no doubt. You don't really need to throw him in there when you've got an all Australian quality ruckman like Tim English, do you?
Yeah, but also you've got such forward line talent as Aaron Norton, so it could go either way.
Back line talent as Rory Lobb.
Yes, yeah.
Who's actually good as actually good as a backman. I like it. That's
definitely in a Bulldog shirt. He's better down back than he was up forward.
And this is a completely ridiculous comparison to make. So I want to lead with that because I'm going to compare.
That's good journalism.
Myself to it. So I'm very aware of the different standards that we're talking about here. But like I said, I was a poor forward. I was a poor ruckman, and then I had an insightful coach that said, "Well, you're pretty tall. Let's put you behind the ball." And the one thing I had that worked for me was my brain. And and clearly Lobb has that himself. He clearly reads the ball quickly, and then he's quick. He's athletic. I wasn't, so I had to work against that. But if you read the ball first in the air and you're that long, you're going to be a good intercept marking threat. So that was. I think that was. I would probably not even give credit to Bevo on that one. I would give the credit to Rory Lobb for leaking his own story about his trade request to force his way back into the 22, and it just happened to be in the back line.
I wasn't going to give the credit to anyone because you can't give anyone credit for trying something different when you were, essentially zero impact up forward.
Speaking of the Bulldogs, I couldn't believe in that semi-final against Hawthorn last year that they went into that game favourites. I'm a paranoid Hawthorn supporter to the max, and I always think the worst is going to happen. But I went into that game not worried for a second that we weren't going to pummel them. I don't know how people rated them highly going into September.
Yeah, that one made absolutely no sense whatsoever.
David King led that narrative. He was,
Now,
moving on from
bad journalism.
I think I've got them somewhere in 7 to 10. If they don't have significant injuries, they'll probably play finals.
Their list is almost too good to
Their list is too
not
good to
fall
not
over the line, isn't it?
But I'm not sure
fall
it's
over the
enough.
line is probably the best way to put it. I think.
Yeah.
But I don't see them confidently going in.
No.
But if
who's making Bont better in the midfield? Libba's getting past it.
Yeah, exactly.
Treloar had a good year, but he's getting up there for his own age now. He's getting less dynamic. Had a great season. I take nothing away from him. Do I think he can do it again? I'm not sure. Because people will sooner try and tag Treloar out of the game than even try with Bont. Like, I think part of you just needs to concede that he's going to go well against you.
He's going to just try and kick 2 and get 40.
Yeah, exactly right.
The interesting move that they made last year was Ed Richards into the middle a bit more. Like, speaking of those guys, someone significantly younger, it feels like at least, than Bont, Libba, Treloar, just for a bit of youth through the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, 25.
Yeah, different sort of player, obviously, but like, I'm just concerned if they have, Libba gets another head knock, Bont's broken back because he's carrying the fucking team again. Aaron Norton falls from 3 stories up because he's jumped over a pack and landed on his head. If they have, 2 or 3 big injuries stack up, I think they're in trouble. Really.
I've got a loaded question for you both.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
At what round of Bont not signing does it mean he's gone?
I hate this because Liverpool currently have 3 players they haven't signed. So contract talk in the middle of the season always scares me. But it's got to be dependent on results, right? Potentially. Maybe.
honestly, I reckon if they're...
How old is he?
He's 29. I think it's results dependent, but I don't think for the Bulldogs, I don't think that they would worry about it if it was round 20. I don't think they're even thinking about it at that. They're thinking about it, obviously, but I don't think they're worried. I see him as a player who will just stick through. Like, he's had enough good years wasted there. Like, what's a few more for however long he plays more?
And he does have a flag.
He has a flag, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't need to chase that final bit of glory, that final accolade.
Yeah.
I think he's going to stay no matter what, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, because that's probably the only thing that, like, they're already saying he's either number one or equal number one with Ted Whitman as the greatest ever dog.
Yeah.
The only thing that could tar that legacy if he isn't a one club player.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I think he'll do it. I don't know if maybe he thinks there's something in his head that goes, if I hold off, maybe it'll kick some people into gear to pull their finger out of their ass, I should say. Do you think he'd be looking for Bevo to be re-signed or looking for, like, what do you think he would want at this point of his career?
If they don't make finals, Bevo's gone completely.
Yeah.
Right. I think they're in a weird spot because they've got some young guys coming through now, but I don't know. You hear this almost every year.
They have to be there to win. It can't be a development year.
Exactly. It can't be another nothing year where they get nothing out. Even first round finals exit and they get walloped.
Yeah.
No good. I think he's got to be gone. You hear this cliche every year. The voice in the room's gone a bit stale. Message isn't getting across. I reckon it's got to be pretty close to that.
Yeah.
Almost. But I don't think Bontempelli leaves ever.
Either way.
Yeah. Full stop. Yeah.
Unless he gets...
I reckon he's a dog till the end of his career. 250 this year, barring anything significant before, round 10. He's at 240 games now. He'll play 300 for the Dogs, I think.
Yeah, not many have done it.
No.
Liver's one head knock away from being medically retired as well.
Yeah. Dangerously close.
Yeah. I think it's weird, isn't it? They've got probably the best starting 22 on paper, but it kind of falls away quickly after that. Like, if they're not, because they had McRae and Caleb Daniel, who were the two that were falling out of the side, and they've packed up and gone. So last year, I think we were saying, oh, look at the guys that aren't even making the team, but they're not there anymore. So
yeah, exactly. And they had Dunkley leave in recent years as well.
You can't forget Mr. Didn't play in a year and a half, Bailey Smith.
Yeah, yeah. I reckon they've got one more punch left in them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Bevo's been
I don't think it's their strongest punch
2015. He had the umpires carry him to a miracle in 2016 and has been 129 and 100 as a record as a coach. That's not fucking tremendous. He's definitely right in the last of the coattails of that premiership win 9 years later. If they don't do anything now, he's gone.
Do you want to hear a funny tidbit about that premiership run of the Dogs in 2016?
Sure, the fairy tale that was aligned with the Cronulla Sharks fairy tale same year, magically.
Yeah, that's right.
Very interesting.
So, fun fact: I feature in the Bulldogs premiership DVD, which did a brief montage.
You're the start of the premiership DVD.
They did a brief montage of their finals matches in the lead up to the granny as part of the theatre of the thing. And because I'm not allowed to mention my employer in podcasts, I'll refer to this covertly, but it should paint enough of a picture.
What's it rhyme with?
No, I can't even do that. The social media policy is wild, but it'll be overt enough that you'll get it. I was assigned to a security detail, let's call it that, to the Western Bulldogs tunnel in their semi-final against Hawthorn.
got the wrong tunnel.
Hawthorne lost, and they're all whooping, and I'm just standing there, just filthy. So there's just this filthy-looking security detail, Stan just shaking his head as they walk off. And I'm filthy at Bevo for not putting Joe Danaher's mate Ling Jong back in the side after winning best on ground in the VFL grand final the week before with his broken collarbone. So yeah, he's been on my. Let's put him on the shit list. Let's put him on the on the
retrospective 2016 shit list. Put him on there. Yeah, good.
Yeah, cool. Look, I've got Sam Darcy for most goals just because why not? Because I don't like Aaron Norton.
Sure.
It's not going to be Jamara. So
no.
Yeah, I think that's and it's not going to be Cody Waitman either. He's going to miss 3 months or whatever it is.
And the Bont on the impact, and then they're outside the 8 for me. Would you believe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see after this long it just clicking for them. I don't.
No.
I don't see how they can just flip a switch. I think last year was the time to move on. Bevo, the message, like I think he conceded it himself in a 360 interview, didn't he? That if the time comes that the message is stale, it's time for me to go. Like I couldn't listen to that bloke every week.
No,
not once. Not if it's just one tone the whole time. Where you, and granted, I'm not behind the 4 walls. I can't read into it. I just don't. And I sort of felt the same way about Horse Longmire to the end. I congratulate him for falling on his sword and acknowledging. I don't see that as being the same as Damien Hardwick quitting because he's got the next move already lined up. I actually think he believed those guys have just had the longest summer of their life after that grand final loss. They don't want to come and hear from me again.
No,
they cannot do another year of that. And I actually thought alarm bells were going for Sydney, and I am saying this is sort of a parable to the Bulldogs, so I think it's a similar situation. But the first moment I thought Sydney were going to have problems come pointing into the season was their game against Hawthorn, which was a capitulation. Like Hawthorn got smacked from pillar to post. They kicked 10 goals in a row, but when Hawthorn kicked 1 against the grain, Horse blew his top in the coach's box. And I just sat there going, if you can't enjoy a 10-goal, like if you still can't impress...
Expectation is way too high.
Yeah, which means you're going to come in stiff to a final series and you just can't... A regimented approach doesn't hold up in finals footy. When there's chaos...
Yeah. Emotions.
Yeah, yep, exactly right. The underdog is... And I think it's something really unique about our sport. The underdog in September is a massive shout. And it's got to be the team that loves playing footy.
Yeah, you can't be a St Kilda or a...
or Fremantle. Oh, wait, what do those two teams have in common in September? Oh, never mind.
Weird that. I had a really good segue to get onto regular Melbourne.
I think the value of a segue sort of goes away if you announce that it's a really good segue. Don't be like
that. It was, okay? Just something about how... so you were saying the Bulldogs, they're not just going to click now. They should have clicked already. I think Melbourne is also already not just going to click again this year.
Yeah.
I mean, Petrarca's, been uploading plenty of food videos on Instagram. His Instagram is popping off. Food by truck or whatever the...
Food? Why is it he should start a food truck?
Food truck, yeah.
Oh, food truck.
Oh, my God.
That'd be sick.
Delay this podcast. Let's get a few patents up.
Instead of playing on the
trademark
G,
that.
he'll be in the concourse in his food truck.
Yeah, no, they can't have more pieces. And the thing with Melbourne is they've won a premiership in inside the last 4 years, 3 years.
Maths.
What is it? Maths, someone. 2021, right?
Yeah.
So that's a recent premiership, and not that this is the be all and end all, but their team of the century so far was just published. And the one thing that I noticed that is a problem is that only one current player is in their forward line for their team of the century to date. That is their whole problem.
Do they have Ben Brown in their forward line?
No, it was Fritsch.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay, so
Checks
good segue.
out.
He's my goal kicker for this year because he's won their club goal kicking award for the last 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be him again.
The Snagman himself.
Mr. Sausage.
They obviously didn't make any big moves on the trade table for a forward. So I'm going to go smoky and say that Chuck might be the lead goal kicker if his body means they have to play him forward.
Yeah.
Because he's a good
if
inside.
Got to rest him up there.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be a super goal-kicking midfielder. He might have lost that about him. But if he does play more forward, and I think they have to look at doing something differently. One thing that they've got, it does look like Clayton Oliver has actually something switched for him, and he's back.
Returned to football.
He's switched on.
The tattoo healed, I think.
The hamstring awareness.
Yeah.
But
I'm aware I have hamstrings. Yes.
With Max gone, and Viney's still hard nosed, and if Clayton Oliver's winning footy and you can afford to play track forward more, I think they've got to look at doing that because they can't roll out this same forward focal point at the moment. They're not going to have Pickett for the first 3 weeks again.
Oh, yep.
Because another brain fade from him. And if they start the season poorly, the buy-in will be cashed out.
Yeah, absolutely. They're fair where the fans won't turn up anymore, and what's the point? I essentially, it's essentially a copy and paste of what I've written down for Western Bulldogs, except Melbourne don't have a forward line.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference. I've got here, if they're injury free again, they should be okay-ish, but still 7 to 10, I feel more likely towards the 10 if they have one of those guys go down. Like, they don't have as many guys as the Bulldogs do as far as their list is concerned.
They routinely win the inside 50s.
Yeah.
And they just don't get the scoring shots. No. And their backline's good. They're just, I don't know. I don't know how they didn't try and make a
big splash on someone.
Yeah.
I guess they're hoping one of their younger guys takes a leap, but
why wouldn't you shop? Like, I'd have shopped Track. What? Because we don't know, because there was a currency for him, but we don't know how he's going to come back from this.
Yeah.
He's an unknown commodity. They could have used him to get a serious forward back, and he's at full flight. He's one of my favourite footballers, Track. So I'm not saying trade him because it's a thing, but identify what you're not lacking a midfield. You're lacking someone that can give you something.
Yeah, they definitely have the gears in the midfield. They're gonna get. They're definitely gonna.
Is that a Clayton Oliver joke? That's not on, mate. You're better than that.
I didn't even. Yeah, all right. Not intentional.
Yeah.
But no, they've got
no problem getting it over the line, but keeping it PC after that, keeping it on goal is the trouble.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. I've got him bottom half as well. Lovely, happy days.
Yeah.
I've lost my outline. Boys, where'd it go?
Good question.
I've got it. Who have you?
I think I picked the snag man. I picked the snag man and I picked the track, I think. I want to say.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
If they're going to make an impact this year, I think it needs to be track for both.
Yeah.
For me. Yep.
Huge. Fair. Well, I guess final team of the week then.
Yep.
Are they wet toast?
Wet toast. Yeah. The Harley Reid Eagles.
Yep. 16th last year, 5 and 18, 151 to win the flag.
That's my note. Harley watch, not much else.
Yeah.
I think they made some decent pickups with Owies. That's just 33 goals added to the bank already from last season. Just grab those, toss them on. Not that Waterman didn't kick 1 billion last year anyway. So he's my number one for goals. Would you believe Waterman?
Yeah.
And Liam Baker's all right.
They'll be better.
They'll be better for sure. They're not going to challenge for anything. But they're on the up, I think.
Yeah. They'll score more goals, but I don't think they'll be better as a all-round team.
They needed a fresh voice too.
Their defense is very much worse.
Yeah, very slim now.
They're going to get lots of harassment down back. That's it really. Near the bottom of the table, but better than last year is my summary for them. Harley Reid, most impactful.
I think for West Coast fans not to turn on them, Harley Reid has to be turning it on.
We're talking don't argues every quarter.
Yeah, if they're going to lose by 5 goals a game this year instead of 14, Harley Reid's still going to be needing to put a fist through people's chest.
Yeah.
Maybe not a fist. That sounds violent, doesn't it? A palm.
I'm picturing Temple of Doom. But yeah, I think they're boring. I maybe we shouldn't have left them for last because there's no discussion, is there? They're just going to be, they're just not going to be as bad.
We can go back to Hawthorn to wrap it up if we think.
How injured is Oscar Allen? Does anyone know?
That's exactly what was going through my head in terms of is he my nod for
he's just goals? Contrary to my other statement that I made about other teams, he's the only option. But he can take a mark, and he's very, very tall and a very good set shot. So, outside of Harley Reid watch, the only other thing you can do is really, I don't know, put $5 a match on Oscar Allen first goal, and then you don't really have to watch the rest of the game after the first 2 minutes, and that's probably the best bit.
Sorry, I was looking up Edgar Allan Poe. I was going to make some jokes about his work. None of his titles.
Probably need to edit out my my unsubstantiated jokes about a player from Melbourne as well. That's probably harsh.
Which one?
Exactly.
Say it again.
Have to remind us which one so we can go back and edit it
out. Spoilers. I don't like editing, so the listeners have heard it already at this point.
It was definitely a low-hanging fruit, and I do not mean it, and he's a good boy.
Yeah, it's all good. The 20 or so people that'll listen to this will probably take it in their stride.
Record-breaking episode.
Yeah, we're crushing it. That's footy.
In it?
No, that's
different.
Football in it. That's our soccer segment.
I thought that was how you wrap it.
Nah. Football in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we've covered. Liverpool's winning the league. So,
old news.
And Richmond AFC. They actually
coming back for a fourth season.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, actually?
Yes.
Apparently,
has anyone
unconfirmed?
No. But apparently, it's going to be about them making a women's team, which I think is a
no spoilers. I
what?
got my ears out.
Oh, it's not a spoiler. I said I think it's going to be potentially about them making a women's team, which
sure.
The way that the season, like the show ends nicely. It's like a good ending. So I didn't want them to ruin by just making more content. So if they make a different thing, that's fine.
And they would, I think it's the only way they could bring Ted back. Is it because they've already announced this?
Fuck, you spoiled it for Isaac now. Ted's
I
dead,
already
dude.
accidentally read it when I Googled if there was going to be how many seasons there were. And it was literally the first fucking line.
What? You haven't...
He's an Android user and he's anti-Apple.
I'm into season 3. They've just won, I don't know, whatever it is, 6 games in a row.
With Zava?
Yeah, and got Zava.
They've just won the league, dude. What do you mean?
Yeah. But yeah, I was like, how many seasons of this is there? So I Googled it instead of just fucking checking on the app.
Yeah.
To be fair, checking on the app sometimes is dangerous because you read an episode title and you're like, oh, fuck me. Throw them in the grapevine. Put them up there with Optus Sport.
Sure.
Dogs.
It can't have been as fucking... as obvious as the first line that said, there hasn't been a confirmed season 4 yet that would... given Ted has fucking gone back to Kansas or whatever. I was like, fuck you. Literally the first fucking line.
But I think the one thing that I can give you confidence in saying it's not a super spoiler. It's the one thing you do know about the show is that it wrapped up nicely anyway.
Yeah.
And that I suppose doesn't paint the picture that he would have had to remain anyway. So I don't think it ruins a lot for you, but
I know
it could be a way that they bring him back. Bring him back as if it's, hey, look, obviously the world moved on when you left, but what do you think about running the women's show? Otherwise, no, the following thing I can't say would have been a spoiler, so I won't say it. I'll message you my fan. I'll message you my fan theory afterwards.
Please.
That. I know it can't have been a terrible ending, noting it's it's ended, it's gone past that. But I've heard about Ted Lasso, obviously, as being a good show, and Keelan's told me many times.
Over and over again, yeah.
But it can't have been a bad ending because it didn't just blow up across social media as being fucking
like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones-esque.
Yeah.
Also, respectful fan base.
Sure.
Yeah. I like to consider myself to be but in the vein of talking shit about other journalists, we've got such article titles as Ted Lasso Season 4 is coming. Here's everything we know so far. First things first, Apple TV Plus has not yet officially announced the return of Ted Lasso. You can't fucking make this shit up, dude. It is it's anyway.
Funny.
Yeah. And other lines such as official but not yet official. It just drives me fucking wild. But anyway, yeah. Whatever.
Hannah Waddingham was... I saw her interviewed on a red carpet and she was she spoke like she wanted it to be coming back, like she was encouraging of it, but definitely didn't give anything away that...
She's a professional.
She is. She is one of the best to ever do it in a 3-season format, because I don't know much of her other work.
Yeah, I bet.
What?
What are you insinuating?
What does that actually mean? I don't know. She's in...
Is she in some girly show or something? Is that what you make it sound of?
No, she's in Game of Thrones.
Oh, she's one with
Hannah Waddingham.
Yeah, she does the shame, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
I've not been a Game of Thrones person, so...
Oh, you've probably seen her in such films as Hocus Pocus 2.
Oh, that's it. That's the one.
That's where it is.
No, the stuntman.
The Fall Guy.
The Fall Guy. Yeah.
Great work piecing together, boys. Great work.
The Garfield movie 2024.
That was an alley-oop right there. Well done.
Or boys, back to sports. Yeah, cool. Should we flip a coin?
Yeah.
We're back to plus 2 hours. Up the lads.
Hell yeah.
You guys are sitting here at 10:43 p.m. Sorry, fellas.
As a pod consumer, I love long form podcasts. As a podcaster, it's pretty brutal the next day.
Well, it looks like you've got a good format that you've actually got to work it in, and it's not super labor inducive for you. This is me assuming, like the fact that you said you don't like editing, and assuming that this goes.
Oh, yeah, this software is so good.
Sorry, this point onwards takes 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like actual clicks wise, it takes 2 seconds. It's just like a few different. Yeah.
And then I get to muck around on Paint and Canva, on MS Paint and Canva for a little bit, making a picture.
Yeah, Isaac like cuts us out and shit, throws fucking hats on us, and then goes, "Yeah, hey boys, here's your episode."
Good gear.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I need to add you to the pick list, Jacob.
Are you ready? This is.
Stats in there.
It's Oh yeah, pull a funny face, and then Isaac can use it for the Instagram post.
Yeah,
I said great. Funny face. Sorry, mate.
Oh shit. That's good.
Disappointing you didn't wear a Hawthorn shirt, but it's fine.
I should have.
Could have had the first majority Hawthorn episode.
What colour would you like, Jacob, as your colour on the list? This is nerd shit. Background spreadsheet that holds our coin flip
what's
data.
available? What's available?
What's been used? What do I have?
Okay. Matt's got blue. I got red. Keelan, you've got gold. Zach's got purple. So anything
brown,
you'd like,
then.
really.
Brown.
Make it easy.
But there was a note about basketball. Kyrie to the Boomers. Are we in on? Are we pro?
I did put a section potential basketball chat here, but it's also 2 hours 20 in.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm pro. If they can make the FIBA exemption work, then I'm obviously in for Kyrie playing for the Boomers.
Him. Yeah, sure. Why not? Might as
That's
well.
A man that wants this podcast to be over.
Yeah, might as well. No, I don't hate it. You know, he's part of the statistic that makes Melbourne the greatest basketball or NBA city on earth. So you gotta appreciate that, and I suppose if he's going to come and give back to his,
if you're going to doctor statistics like that, you got to let the guy play for Australia.
Yeah, you might as well.
Hey, it is a birth statistic.
Well, but like it's like it's not doctoring, it's cherry picking statistics. Yeah,
it is quite remarkable though, isn't it, that a place like Chicago hasn't had more than 3. That just
it's growing up
remarkable that it's Melbourne.
It's growing up that cold, I think. Stunts growth.
Oh god.
More likely to play hockey, perhaps, because they're skating around all the time in the streets. That's how I picture Chicago, anyway.
All right, let's flip a coin.
Don't forget to share your screen. Oh, here you go. So, Jacob, not sure if you've ever flipped a coin before. So, what normally happens is
not electronically.
Yeah. Oh well, Isaac will press it as you see it flip. You call it. It's just like a regular coin flip. Yeah.
Pretty simple. Can't land on the side. Which is a benefit, I suppose. That's completely out.
Yeah, it kind
I'm getting an explanation how coin flipping works.
So it's like roulette, but if you get rid of the green ones, it is a true 50-50. Yeah.
It's like Keno, but with no numbers, really.
And I'm assuming I don't win anything.
No, well,
it's mainly just bragging rights.
You could have Max Ramsden's accuracy stats if you kick this one.
By mainly bragging rights, it's just entirely bragging rights.
Yeah.
All right. Are you prepared to flip?
I'm prepared to flip. Tails.
Good call.
Hey,
tails. 1 from 1. Love to see that.
Good call.
What he meant to say was good, fair, legal call.
Right.
Yeah. Tails is a legal call in a coin flip, so that's a good move. And it also happened to play out as a successful call too. So
I think
so. You actually jumped to first overall as far as call percentage goes with 100%.
Yes, that's what I'm here for.
Myself, 26 and 17. Keelan's 21 and 21. Matt's 21 and 22, and Big Z is 0 and 1.
Yeah.
So
you're
made
winning
the
guest leaderboard.
Yeah, definitely. You're leading all of us currently on percentage. Yeah. You definitely made the right choice in picking tails as far as this show goes. It has been dominant.
Has it really?
Keelan and Matt pretty much exclusively pick heads, and they're basically 50-50. And I'm at 60% calling tails every time.
Well, you know what they say about 60% of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Works every time.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Well, thanks for having me, boys.
Thank you for your presence. Greatly appreciated. And we might have to get you on 2 or 3 times before the end of the footy season, I think.
Yeah,
if you've got time.
See if anything, if any of our predictions play out. If we get some Harry Boyd. If we get some Harry Boyd action,
we'll get you on a Harry Boyd special. How about that?
Yeah.
If he gets called up, you're on that episode.
Yeah,
I could do 2 hours and 20 on Harry Boyd.
If you hear anything in the streets about Harry Boyd, please let me know, and I'll make a responsibly sized wager on anytime goal scorer Harry Boyd.
You got it. All right, gentlemen.
Thank you, boys. See you next week.
Wait, I'm leaving it open.
Yes. Yeah, Isaac will stop it. So this is where you just say like a funny goodbye, like I'll normally say like cheerio.
My favorite workout is my biceps.